Last year we sold out our season tickets in August. We had to put a stop on them, because we had oversold Carver Hawkeye Arena, which is 15,000 people. In addition to that, we saw every visiting arena that we went to increase their attendance by 157%. So there was definitely Clarkonomics going around. If you look up and down Iowa City and you see lots of 22 t-shirts walking around. And I'm not talking about just little girls. I'm talking about boys. I'm talking about grown men and women wearing those t-shirts with pride.
Hello, and welcome to Washington Post Live. I'm Sally Jenkins. I'm a sports columnist for the Post, and we're here today for the latest in our series, Leveling the Playing Field, and our guest is former Iowa Hawkeyes women's basketball coach, Lisa Bluder. Lisa, welcome to the show. We're so glad to have you today.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and I'm still not used to hearing that word former before my title and my name there. It still feels weird.
Hey, it feels weird for the rest of us. I was sick at heart when I heard you were hanging up your Spurs, because you're obviously one of the greats in the entire history of the game, and we're going to get to your record. But first, I want to talk to you about the news of the day that everyone is discussing around the coffee stations at work. That's your former player, Caitlin Clark, being left off the USA Olympic roster. Lisa, what are your thoughts about that? And is there a rationale for that that's fair? It's such a controversial topic, as everything around Caitlin seems to be lately.
Yeah, I was wondering how long it was going to take to get to that question, Sally.
I'm a journalist. I had to go right there.
She is I obviously would love to have seen her on that team. She's represented USA basketball many times. She's won 3 gold medals. But we have to remember, it is the hardest team to make anywhere. It is the hardest team to make. And the 12 women that they have chosen are exceptional women. The only but I have is, what about the future? Because this team has not lost a game since 1992. A game they haven't lost. So they're a great group. They're experienced. There's no doubt we're going to win another gold medal in Paris. But what about the fact that in 4 years we're going to be playing in LA? How are we preparing for that? That would be my only but.
This is my question too. So Diana Taurasi is 40 years old, over 40 years old. She's going to be hanging it up. Sue Bird just retired. There's some great younger guards on that team, and obviously they've got to integrate new leadership. And I would have thought that Caitlin Clark will be integrated into that process. But was it too soon? Was it just a cycle too soon? I mean, who in your mind is the new Sue Bird of this organization, this USA basketball organization?
Yeah, I couldn't answer that, Sally. I'm not sure, but I think it would have benefited Caitlin if she would have had another year of experience and maybe not be coming right off of her collegiate season where she's pretty tired, as you can see in her play right now. When she's tired, she struggles a little bit. When she's fresh, as in the other night, she has 30 points. So her body needs a rest. And the silver lining is that her body will get some rest during this break. And I think that's what we have to focus on, is the silver lining to this whole deal.
She said an interesting thing to her WNBA coach, Christy Sides. She said they woke up a monster. How many times have you heard a reaction like that from Caitlin Clark to a challenge?
Yeah, not those exact words, but certainly, I mean, anytime that somebody doubts her, somebody says she can't do something, she's going to go prove them wrong. So definitely she's in a position to really be motivated highly to continue, growing her game and being successful and making the next Olympics in 4 years.
Great. All right, let's go to you. Let's talk retirement. 884 career wins. That's 10th on the all-time list. And by the way, that's a list that includes Gino Auriemma, Pat Summitt, Vivian Stringer, Tara Vanderveer, who's actually ahead of all of them. Lisa, why was it time? Why this time? You've been doing it for 40 years, basically. What I guess sent you over to the other side of I'm ready to go now?
Yeah, My husband and I went on vacation. We really did a lot of hiking out in Phoenix and Scottsdale and really had some great time to talk about it. And I put in a call to Marcia Sharp, who I really respect, and somebody that kind of, went through the same thing, had a really successful year, but decided to hang it up after a little bit of time. I talked to her about what that was like, the pros and cons. She was a great resource for me. Obviously, Tara and I have had a few conversations, not a lot, but a couple. But for me, it was more like a personal reason was that my son is going to be a senior. He plays Division III basketball, and I've missed so many of his games. And that way I can see all of his games the last time he's putting on the sneakers. So I really wanted to have that opportunity to do that. Another thing was that the landscape of basketball is just changing so much. It's like, it's different now. I mean, the pay for play, basically, I mean, it is what it is, right? The collectives, the portal, it's just getting to be too much. It's not what we all signed up for when we started coaching this game. The game has changed. I don't mind that the kids have changed. I don't mind that the players have changed. I've been able to change with the times with them. But the rules, it's just not as much fun, to be quite honest, when, people can just buy people out of the portal. The Big Ten now is going to 18 schools, so we'll be traveling to Oregon, Washington, UCLA, USC. A lot of those things just didn't seem attractive to me. It just seemed like it was more of a business than a collegiate game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of Tara Vanderveer's rationale too for hanging it up. I think the prospect of traveling cross country was something she was facing as well. So what are some answers? What could have kept you in the game? I mean, let's talk for a minute about what the NCAA and frankly Congress, part of being at the Washington Post is that we can reach some people in high places with our material. So, talking to the Washington Post today, what would do you have any advice for Congress as they look through this landscape and are sorting around through some potential solutions or legislation? What would you like to see first and foremost?
Well, it's too bad we can't go backwards because the NCAA, in my opinion, should have done something many years ago when these rumors started happening that, we were going to be having to share revenue with our athletes. And, if we would have been, I think, a little bit more proactive at that point with the NCAA, we wouldn't have even, maybe we wouldn't have even gotten to this point where we are now. It's hard to put that genie back in the bottle, though, and it's going to be hard to go backwards. So, but we have to have some kind of rules. I mean, whether that's a salary cap or something like that, I hope that happens. It'll be interesting to see, when these athletes start getting taxed. I mean, if they're going to be making money like the rest of us out in America, I think that they should be having to be taxed on that and being, are they paying for health care? Are they going to be paying for their scholarships? Are they going to be paying for travel? I mean, these are all things that we've incurred for them in the past. So it's going to be interesting to see how the universities and how the NCAA works around that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like one of the first questions that needs solving is do we define them as employees? And if so, all that stuff is taxable, right? Now you're paying into Social Security, Medicare. I mean, it's a huge complication to define them as employees, which I think I might write about this week. But speaking of the past,
why would they not be employees if they're making that much? I mean, they're going to be making more money than assistant coaches. Why would we not be considering them as employees?
Well, I think that NIL money is separate from revenue sharing. I don't think revenue sharing should happen as a taxable employee-based thing. My own opinion is that we should treat it like work study, like we do with music majors, drama majors. I mean, I think you can revenue share in certain ways that is not employment money, straight paycheck money straight into a pocket, straight pay for play. If you tether it all to education and educational purposes, I mean, my view is that what you do is teach. And that's it. Women's basketball is one of the greatest educational tools and opportunities I've ever seen. Right. So I think that's the path forward I would like to see. But I'm not a coach. I'm just I just snipe at the subject from the sidelines. But you know what I mean? But that's what I'd like to see, Lisa, right?
I'm sorry?
Just tether it to education. If you tie everything back to education, maybe that helps to solve some problems, because that's what That's what universities got away from in the pay for play education.
Yeah, there's going to bring up so many other issues as well. Like, how do you keep your locker room sane? There can be so many jealousies and so many things. How are you going to decide who gets what? I just think there's going to be so many issues with this. But at the same time, I'm glad that I was at the University of Iowa. I think our leadership, Beth Getz, right now, our director of athletics, we're so lucky that we have her leading us into this next generation, this next time of athletics. I think she's very, very well equipped to help the University of Iowa at least deal with this.
So speaking of turning back the clock, let's turn back the clock just a little bit on your career. 40 years. You played at Northern Iowa. You coached at St. Ambrose and then at Drake. And what's fascinating, I was doing a little homework. You can chart your career by the outfits. Anyway, you hold the Iowa and Big Ten record with 528 wins against 254 losses. 18 appearances in the NCAA tournament at Iowa. You've got, 2 NCAA championship game appearances. When you look back, what impact do you hope your legacy has had? What is it that you hope you've left behind?
I hope a couple of things. One is I hope that we were a part of growing this great game. As you said, Sally, women's basketball is the best teacher. It's the best experience for life lessons, for success as you leave the university. It's the best teaching tool that we could possibly have, in my opinion. So I hope that we helped grow this game. I hoped we exposed this game for how great it is, and that the eyeballs that we attracted are going to continue to grow, and that we were a part of that. To me, that's really exciting. That more people want to be involved in it, that more people want to watch it, that more people respect it. On a more personal note, for me, I hope my legacy is that I've left a lot of women in a better position to have success the rest of their lives in whatever they do, whether, that's being a coach themselves or being, going into education or business or being a doctor. And so I just hope that my legacy is that I've left those young women in a better position to handle the rest of the things that they're going to face the rest of their lives.
You were handling complicated situations in your own locker room at Iowa. How did you keep that team? How did you keep the team chemistry, particularly as Caitlin Clark got more and more famous? NIL deals came her way. You did have to grapple with those problems in your own locker room. The fact that coaches going forward are going to be grappling with increasingly. What was your secret, Lisa? Can you talk a little bit about the dynamic in your locker room and how you tried to sort of maintain the good chemistry that you guys so clearly had?
Well, one part of it was Caitlin Clark herself. She was a great teammate. She included everybody when she, she was one of the hardest workers. Obviously, somebody that's that good is going to be a great hard worker, but it was the way that she led, the way that she incorporated her teammates. For example, she brings 3 of them with her to the draft. She gets them all Nike shoes. She gets them all Bose headphones. I mean, she really incorporated her teammates. She was somebody that really built them up, and she was fun. So part of it was Caitlin. Caitlin created that herself because she wasn't a prima donna. She didn't act like she was better than anybody else. She was goofy. So part of it was Caitlin. I think the other part of it was we convinced this team that when her light shines, it shines on all of us. It makes all of us better. And I think the team really bought into that. If we hadn't done the groundwork for the chemistry of our team years ago, it wouldn't have been that successful this year. But I think, sometimes people say, oh, how did you create such good chemistry? Chemistry is created every day. It's created every single day in practice. It's the way you are in the locker room, the way you are in games. It's not like a seminar. Some people think you can just throw on a 48-hour or a weekend retreat and it's going to all be solved. To me, chemistry is a daily effort with your team. And so I think if we had the groundwork already established with that before Caitlin even got here, and so I think that really helped.
Can you give me a couple of specific examples? Like, what are your non-negotiables around chemistry? Take Caitlin Clark out of it. What were a couple of things that in a concrete way other leaders might be able to borrow from you in this?
I think one of the hardest things is holding other people accountable. And I think young women especially struggle with that because they really kind of have this tendency that they want everybody to like them. And it's hard when you hold people accountable, like, because you're making yourself very vulnerable to that. So, I think that vulnerability is a piece, but also just being able to hold people accountable if they're doing something that doesn't mesh with what your values are. One of our values is respect, and that means, respecting not only your opponent, your teammates, the officials, and it's respecting yourself. How do you take care of yourself? How do you speak to yourself? How do so that's one of our values. So if our team all buys into that and they see one of their teammates not holding themselves accountable with that respect aspect, they have to be able to hold them accountable. And we talk a lot about when somebody holds you accountable, you better listen to them, because if you don't listen to them, they're not going to hold you accountable anymore. And that's going to make you worse, and that's going to make our team worse. And so we spend a lot of time talking about those type of things.
That's great. I love that idea of how do you talk to yourself. I mean, that sounds like it's probably pretty effective with kids, particularly in the era of
It's so
social
important.
media.
I mean, I tell my players all the time, the voice that you hear the very most of anybody is the voice in your own head. And so you better fill that with positive energy, because that's the one you hear. And so as soon as you hear something negative coming into your mind, you have to have some way to get it out, some way to flick it out. And part of it is starting to be aware of it. Once you're aware of it, because sometimes we just do this and we don't even know we're doing it. We're talking to ourselves in a negative manner. But once you're starting to make yourself aware of it, I think that's when you can make that change.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's looking for the answer to how do we get inside kids' heads and replace social media and all the negative crap that's getting in their heads through all these different, lines into their minds. And this is a really critical point, it seems to me. So thank you for making.
Social media, I think, is awful. I understand how players have to brand themselves, and especially today in NIL, they have to brand themselves. It's our responsibility, I think, as college coaches to teach them to do that the proper way, not to just jump on to every brand that approaches them, but to make sure that these are brands that align with your personal values. You can ask yourself, hey, in 20 years, am I going to be glad that I did that? Because it's going to live on forever. So, we talk about these things with our players. And also, I tell my team, you can post, but don't read. I mean, when you read all those comments that no names, no face people post about you, there can be 100 comments. 99 of them can be outstanding comments, and one of them can be just tear you apart. Guess what? You're going to remember the one that tore you apart. And so don't read any of them. It doesn't matter. Don't read the 99 good ones, even if you're, because you're going to remember the one bad one. It's just, I think it's human nature. So we really try to talk about to our team about that as well.
I got to think there's like bosses across America right now listening to that going, oh my God, what an insight. NBA coaches, I think, have been struggling with this even. I mean, it's at all levels. So I find that incredibly valuable. Let's go back to the Clark effect from a commercial standpoint. All sellouts. You guys sold out across the spectrum, record ticket prices. I mean, the growth just kept going. Every time you thought there was a ceiling, you guys just broke right through it. Let's talk about what are it's not just a Clarkonomics. There are other factors that probably help drive that, I would think. Or was it just an individual phenomenon based on a generational player? What are the factors that you think created Clarkonomics?
Well, I do think that she is a generational player and people were attracted to that. I think that, she played with a passion and a joy and a just lack of fear of failure that people were attracted to. They kind of wanted to be like Caitlin in that aspect. And so I think, she was the right player, but I also, here we just tore down social media. I do think social media had a huge role in promoting her. And we have a great social media team at the University of Iowa. They do an unbelievable job. And I think that helped generate the excitement about her. Also, television exposure. The more people got to see us play, the more they fell in love with her. They fell in love with the style of play of our team and of other women on our team. I mean, Kate Martin's having a fabulous year right now for the Aces. Started for the Aces last night and at point guard, a position she never even played in college. But I think the TV exposure, and I credit the Big Ten with this. You know, we were the first ones that had a sports network, and then everybody else jumped on the bandwagon for that. But it was actually Jim Delaney's idea to have this Big Ten network and put a lot of our games on. And that exposure is something that you have to have, because if you can't see it, you don't know how to become it. I always, use the example, like, I thought I was going to be Nadia Comaneci because that's what I saw in the Olympics until the 76 Olympics came. And then I thought, man, I want to be like that, So you have to have exposure. And I think also when that exposure happened, then some high profile male athletes started following, paying attention, and it just infiltrated a different audience when they gave credibility to our product.
Yeah, 7 different networks Iowa was on. And not only were you on, but you ended up commanding the highest ratings those networks ever had for women's basketball. It was kind of a remarkable gathering of momentum. Lisa, going forward, the WNBA is seeing the exact same thing. Are there some people have accused the WNBA of not being quite prepared for Clarkonomics and for the enormous spike in audiences? We've seen some teams have to change arenas. We've seen them being maybe a little surprised by everything that Clark has brought to the league. Do you think how's the WNBA doing at capitalizing at this? And how important is it to you to see the women's professional league grow and grow?
Yeah, I mean, we have to see this league grow. I mean, it's got to be like, we don't want to go overseas and play. We want to keep our best Americans here playing in our country for us to support and not send them overseas and play. I mean, we have to do this. It's essential right now. But, like the Fever was not ready for how many jerseys they were going to sell. They sold out of those. So I think it has caught them off guard a little bit. I don't know if they realized the spike that was going to happen. And I think what could have helped, and this is, I'm looking at it from Caitlin's perspective and nobody else's because I'm biased, right? The league did them no favors by this unbelievable schedule they had to begin with. It was grueling, and, playing the best teams right off the bat. I'm not sure that was smart, and who knows? I don't know about scheduling the WNBA, Sally, so I am no expert on this. But to me, they did them no favors in starting her career like that with no rest and traveling, playing so many games in such a short amount of time. I feel like the officiating has got to change. I feel like it's got to get better. And I feel like there has to be a little more freedom of movement. For example, people want to see people score. And right now the league is very physical, and they almost brag about how physical it is and how, tough it is. Well, people really like offense, and they like to see people score. I mean, that's what our team did last year. And so I think you're going to have a little bit more freedom of movement with the officials in order for that to happen, to make it an exciting product.
Yeah, let's talk about the flagrant foul, the flagrant one Kennedy Carter committed on Caitlin Clark. I've argued that as a basketball play, take women's basketball out of it, men's basketball. As a basketball play, you can't blind somebody when the ball's not even in play yet. I argued that should have been a 1-game suspension just to draw a red line. Let's talk about that foul. Where were you when did you see it live, and what was your feeling about that?
Yeah, I saw it and I couldn't believe it. I was shocked, and I was kind of upset, obviously about it because, I care about this kid so much, and she, in my opinion, is one of the futures. I mean, if we're talking about the WNBA in 8 years from now, she's going to be one of the key players, I would imagine. So again, let's protect her a little bit. Let's make sure that these type of things aren't happening. And I agree with you. I think there should have been a suspension and a fine for that, because that sends a signal. And by, them being kind of mum about it, it doesn't send a signal. We have to do that if you want the product to be well. All the negative publicity that came with that lack of call, lack of discipline there, all the negative publicity made people sour for the WNBA. And that's not what we want. We want to show how great this is. But then all of a sudden we look like, I don't know, women out for, petty. It looks, it doesn't look good. And we have to make this product look good for the masses if we want to continue to attract the masses.
Yeah, my colleague Candace Buckner wrote a really great column about just the tenor of a lot of the commentators jumping in who never watched WNBA basketball before, or women's basketball for that matter. And they really jumped on the quote cat fight sort of aspect of it. I agree with you there. I think that there was a note of sourness crept in to what's otherwise been a really pretty compelling story about Caitlin Clark's entry into the league. Lisa, on a happier note, you've gotten to see three of your former greats, Megan Gustafson, Kate Martin, and Caitlin Clark on the floor in the WNBA this year. Iowa basketball seems to have had a kind of a signature. Among other things, it's really offense friendly, spectator friendly, and I think it's a very collaborative and intelligent basketball. I mean, it's basketball with a capital B. All three of those players have that same quality. Were you, I mean, the fact that Kate Martin can step in and play point guard in the WNBA, how actively have you been teaching collaboration and floor vision? Because they all seem to have it coming out of your program.
I think it's essential. I mean, I'm not a coach, or wasn't a coach, who really enjoyed like calling plays all the time. I wanted to teach the game of basketball. I didn't want to sit there and be a play caller and make the players have to look at me and hesitate when they're running an offense. I wanted it to be free flowing. I wanted our fast break offense first to go right into our quarter court offense. And to me, it is a lot about spacing and collaboration. We celebrated the assist over the basket in practice every single day. In games, we always celebrated the assist, which in my opinion is collaboration, right? It's I'm giving up my good shot for a great shot for my teammate. But in order to play that way of basketball, I think you really have to teach the game. And so all summer long, we would really not scrimmage. We would teach the game, teach different reads. I don't want to have a bunch of robots out there that just say, I'm supposed to pass here and go screen over there. To me, that's not teaching them the game. So to me, it was really important that they understood the game. And I've always felt like that is a great compliment. Every time I've had women that have tried out for USA basketball or other things, they've come back and said, man, your kids really know the game of basketball. And I thought that was probably one of the ultimate compliments I could get as a coach.
It certainly is. And I think that what the job you did in the last 2 years in particular was probably one of the most masterful coaching jobs I ever saw across the board. So congratulations for that. Lisa, we've only got a minute or so left. Last question is, where do you hope to see the game in 40 years? 40 years from now, another 40 years down the line? What do you hope?
40 years, man. That's a long time in
20.
our growth line, right? Because we've only been around for 51 years at Iowa. Like our game has only been around that long. So 40 years is a long time from now, but I'm hoping that we're going to continue to see the growth. I'm hoping that we continue to see the sellouts, that it's not something you have to search for on TV, but you can turn it on and see it, everywhere. And I just want these women to be respected. They work so hard. They're doing such great things in their communities and their academics that they need to be celebrated. And so I want to keep growing this sport so we can celebrate these great athletes that are coming out of colleges and into the WNBA.
Well, thank you so much, Lisa. We're out of time, so we're going to have to leave it there. Lisa Bluder, thank you so much for joining me today. I wish we had hours to continue this conversation. And thanks to all of you for watching. For more of these important conversations, sign up for a Washington Post subscription. Get a free trial. visiting WashingtonPost.com/live. I'm Sally Jenkins, and this has been Washington Post Live.